Hi friends, this is Yamini and I welcome you back to my channel The Saffron Box. Today in this video I am going to be talking about the retrogression of Venus. Okay, so we all know that Venus is becoming retrograde on the 6th of October early morning, that is actually the midnight between 5th and 6th of October, and it is going to remain retrograde in motion till the 16th of November. Thereafter it becomes direct or progressive. And while being in retrogression, Venus is going to be moving back from the nakshatra of Swati, where it is currently posited, back to the nakshatra of Chitra, right? So Swati, the Rahu ruled nakshatra, which Venus is transiting over, since it's going direct tomorrow night, that is the midnight between 5th and 6th of October, Venus moves back from Swati to Chitra and thereafter again moves on to Swati, and on the 16th of November it becomes direct, right? So Venus as such, when we talk about retrogression in case of Venus, it is a good thing to happen though, because retrogression is not a thing to be feared about. In fact, retrogression gives us, whenever a planet is under retrograde motion, the planet is actually revisiting, or rather making us go through something which it represents, right? So Venus represents our relationships, it represents 100 things, but just to name a few: our relationships, our marriage, our sense of art, sense of taste, your aesthetic sense, how do you handle your relationships, how do you conduct yourself, what's your behavior, and how do you go about decorating things, what is your taste in fine arts, in poetry, dressing up, jewelry, right? So you understand the meaning. There are a lot of things which give us pleasure. So whether you are able to enjoy something and how do you enjoy it, right? So all these things are ruled by Venus. The cash which you hold, okay, because ultimately in this world, the money, the cash, the wealth also gives us happiness, because that is when you can enjoy other things, your jewelry, your sense of art, your poetry, your fine paintings, fine decorative items, right? So all these things, all the luxurious things, all the things which sound good to us, which seem to be nice when we see, and which give us overall sense of comfort and luxury, that is what Venus rules. So during this period of retrogression, we are, all of us go through a certain time where we end up revisiting these things. So whether it's our relationship, whether it's our sense of, whether it's some art issue, whether it's some creative talent, there are 100 other things, which Venus is telling us to see, to look up again, to reorder or rearrange. Right, so and Venus being a benefic planet, the retrogression turns out to be good. It's not to be feared about. One can actually make use of this time and see as to what all needs to be rearranged in their lives. So whether it's a relationship with your spouse, it's any other relationship for that matter, whether it's some creative talent, whether it was some item of luxury, or cash, or it could be some other object of luxury, of wealth, which you need to think about, which you need to work on. So Venus is giving you that short period. These are short and very effective periods when a planet goes in retrograde motion, where you can actually see how to go about things, right? So Venus, when becomes retrograde, it also tells you, because it's a soft planet and it deals with a lot of with matters of the heart, Venus tells you that you need to use your heart a little more than your head, right? So because when we talk about relationships, when we talk about marriage, when we talk about such things, it's better to use our heart, listen to what our heart says, then go all calculative and all pragmatic, right? So we'll just quickly see also as to what is the impact of Venus becoming retrograde on all the 12 signs too, right? So if we talk about the signs, all the 12 signs, it is also very important to see which house Venus rules in your birth chart too, right? So you will be getting impact of that, of those houses also. Where is your natal Venus placed in your chart? That is also very important to see. Only then can you get a whole idea, a proper perspective as to what this retrogression would mean for you. So these are general guidelines, these are general, this is general discussion on how Venus will impact all 12 signs. So if Venus is, say, a very strong planet in your chart, it's the Atma Karka, or it's the, it's your Lagan Lord, it's your Lagnesh, it's your Ascendant Lord, then the retrogression actually makes a major impact on you. And even if it is not, then the houses which it is ruling, in case you're undergoing a Venus Dasha, Venus Mahadasha, or Venus Antardasha, that also matters a lot, right? And how is your Venus? Is your Venus combust? Is your Venus well placed? Is it afflicted? So a lot of other things also play up. So keep in mind that this is a general idea. I'm just giving you a general idea as to what are the possibilities, where all can you work when Venus is in retrograde motion, right? So if we quickly have a look at the impact on the 12 signs, I'll talk about Aries first. For Aries, Venus is retrograde in the 7th house itself, right? So currently Venus is in the 7th house of Libra. That's your natural house of marriage, of relationships, of partnerships, and Venus is becoming retrograde over there. So if you look at that, there could be a possibility that an old partner or an old relationship resurfaces, right? So there could be a possibility of that. There could also be a possibility of some old enemy or someone who was a competitor or a counterpart, or directly working opposite you, resurfaces. So you need to be a little cautious on that front, and do not take any drastic measures. So just reevaluate, try to rethink, try to see whether you really need to work on certain relationships or not. And if you are going through a patch in your marriage where things are not working out, do not take any hasty decision. This is a time for you to think over your marriage, to think over your relationships, and then try to work it out in your head, work it out in your heart, and then go about taking any decision. Venus retrograde also is not a very good time for anybody taking a marriage or a partnership ahead. So if you are looking at getting married, avoid this period in case you are looking at a partnership business also, right? And now talking about the sign of Taurus. For Taurus, Venus is the Lord also, right? So Venus rules over the sign of Taurus, and this retrogression is going to be happening in your 6th house in the sign of Libra, which again, as I said, Venus rules. So this is a time for you to take a step back and see what's good for you, for your own health, for your own daily routine. And you need to step back and see where are you going wrong. If you have been facing any health issues, what can you do to work on your health? What can you do to work on your routine? So a good transit for you to indulge in some self-care, right? So that is how I'll put it. So take care of yourself, and only then can you take care of anybody else, right? So that's what Venus is trying to tell you. I mean, we keep hearing those quotations, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So fill up your cup first, fill up yourself with good deeds, good thoughts first, right? That's what Venus is telling you here. Now coming to the sign of Gemini. For Gemini, this retrograde motion of Venus is happening in the 7th house. Now the seventh house is of children, is of entertainment, is of creative talents, of your mantra siddhis, etc. So what Venus tells you is that you need to maybe indulge, indulge your children a little bit, work with your children a little bit, right? And as of now, in fact, for a period of 5 to 6 days, you'll also have Jupiter there, and thereafter Jupiter also moves on to the sign of Scorpio on the 11th of October, right? So you can make use of this time. In case you're trying your luck somewhere, this is a good time to do so. And in case there are some creative talents which you have been trying to work on, which you have left behind in your daily busy schedule, try to pick it up again, right? So this is a great time. In case you also have some tips with your children, there is some issue which you're trying to resolve with your children, trying to work on your relationship, a great time to redo or remanage your relationship also, right? Now coming on to the sign of Cancer. For Cancer, the retrogration is in the fourth house of Sukh. This is your Sukh Sthan, the house which gives you happiness, the house which gives you comforts. So it rules over your mother, it rules over your home, your time at home, your basic education, your conveyances, etc. Right? So Venus being retrograde here is good. It's telling you to stay at home, see what's going to happen. Maybe if you're trying to redo your home, renovate your home, or if you're thinking of some fresh ideas to brighten up your home, this is a great time to do so, right? And it is also telling you to listen to your heart, because the fourth house rules one part of your heart, right? The fifth house rules the other. So the fourth house and Venus being retrograde there tells you to listen to your heart, listen up, do what gives you comfort, slow down a little, right? Don't get stressed out too much. So take care of your own sukh, take care of your own happiness first, right? And coming on to the sign of Leo, retrogration is happening in the third house. So it tells you that this is an opportunity to reconnect with your siblings, to reconnect with people around you in your surroundings. It could be your neighbors, it could be your siblings, as I said. In case there were some short journeys which you were planning to undertake, which you had been postponing, so this is a great time again, right? So again, a good opportunity. In case you have been negligent towards your communication skills, towards your old hobbies, etc., this is a great time to redo. A month of 40 days is a good time to 42 days is a good time to restart something also, right? So again, my advice to you is look after your talents, revive your talents. In case you have not been paying too much heed to how you talk, your communication, you also need to keep a check on that, right? So Venus being here maybe gives you an opportunity to reconnect. In case you are in the media, in case you are in the PR related work, it will give you a very good opportunity to reconnect with your contacts, make short journeys and reconnect, right? Now talking about Virgo. For Virgo, this retrogration is happening in their second house of wealth, second house of family, right? Second house of speech again, though. So this again is a good opportunity for you to connect with your family. In case you've had issues within your family, in case there have been problems in your family, you're all feeling a little disconnected with each other, it's time to work on your relationship. Venus is a sweet planet, right? So it brings in sweetness. So when it is going into retrogration, it is telling you to sweetly, nicely, very cordially work on things. it doesn't understand, Venus does not understand the language of aggression, right? So that is what it is trying to tell you to do. So reconnect with your family, reconnect with your loved ones. Also take care of your cash, take care of your wealth. So in case you had been procrastinating issues, procrastinating taking care of your money, making investments, this is a good time to do it, right? And now coming on to the sign of Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus, right? So the ascendant lord being retrograde in the ascendant itself is a time for you to indulge in your self growth. So pay attention to your own schedule, to your own personality, in case you're looking at makeover, in case you're looking at doing some major changes. It could be, you know, change in your clothes, it change in your wardrobe, it could be changes in your home, it could be changes, anything, you know, any change which is related to you yourself. It's a great time, but I would say any drastic changes should not be done. You know, anything which you say, in case you had any hobby, you have a plan to do something which you had been procrastinating, this is a time Venus is giving you a golden opportunity to go back and do it for yourself. So listen to your heart, listen to yourself first, rather than keeping everybody in the front seat, right? So great opportunity, and do make use of it. Coming down now to the sign of Scorpio. For Scorpio, the retrogression is happening in your 12th house. So this is a good time for you to introspect, though it's not a very long time, but this is a good time to introspect, to make use of some time alone, right? And see where you're spending your energy. Maybe have a look at your marriage also. Maybe think about your spouse also, because the planet Venus, it is ruling over your house of spouse, house of partnership, house of marriage. That is the 7th house also. And Venus being retrograde is ruling your 7th and your 12th house both. So revisit your relationship, spend time with your partner, spend time with your husband or wife, your life partner, to see where you're going in life, right? And do things together. Maybe you can just take, you get away somewhere, together. So great opportunity to bond together as well, right? Now coming down to the sign of Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, Venus is going retrograde in the 11th house of gains. So this tells you that you need to, your social circle, your friendships, etc. will give you benefits. But you also need to be a little picky and choosy. Rearrange whom you're interacting with, how much time you're spending with whom, and what is it that is futile, what is it that is useful. So spend some time over there, and I'm sure you'll get good results, right? So try to prune off too many people from your life. Maybe they're just taking away a lot of your time and energy. So decide what is useful, what is not. Decide what is giving you good vibes, what is not giving you so good vibes, right? So coming down now to the sign of Capricorn. For Capricorn, Venus is going retrograde in the 10th house, that is your Karma Sthan. And for Capricorn, Venus is a Yoga Karak also, or Yoga Karak planet also. So it's a very auspicious planet for you. And going retrograde in your workplace, in your Karma Sthan, Venus tells you that there could be progress which you were expecting at work. There could have been a promotion or a raise which you were expecting at work, expecting in your office, expecting in your place of business, and which is now getting ripened up. The time is ripe now to sow the benefits. So in case you are looking at some benefits from your superiors, from your father also, this is a great time to go and speak up, right? And this time also gives a boost to your relationships, to your reputation, and then further on to your relationships also, right? And Now coming down to Aquarius. For Aquarius, this retrogression is happening in the ninth house, and Venus is a yoga karaka for the Aquarius ascendant also, right? So what is happening? You may get a chance to explore some deep philosophy of life, look at some higher education opportunities. Maybe you stand to gain from your guru, you stand to gain from a foreign connection, from a long journey which you might undertake, right? So pay attention to these things. Try to stay within the periphery, within the boundaries of law and justice. Do not take any risky decisions, right? So in case you are expecting any relief in a matter of law and order, in case you are undergoing some dispute, maybe this is a time when a superior authority starts favoring you, starts looking at what is your angle, right? So again, a good time for you to make use of. Now coming down to the sign of Pisces, the last sign. For Pisces, this retrogression is happening in the 8th house, right? And 8th house, as we all know, is the house of transformation, of change. It could be a sudden change, it could be a gradual change, it could be something which is just hidden, comes up to the surface, and things start changing for you, right? So pay attention to whatever change is required around you. Pay attention to your financials also, your insurance also. 8th house represents insurance, 8th house represents your partner's money, your inheritance, right? So it is also a house of deep hidden things. So one could again revisit something. There might be some secrets which unfold in front of you, right? So pay attention to all these things and make use of this time, all right? Because you've had Jupiter, and for Pisceans especially, for the Pisces sign especially, Jupiter has been here for over a year, and now it's moving on to the sign of Scorpio within a week. Now and Venus is again retrograde over here. That is the 8th lord also in your case. So this is a house which in your horoscope is under full activation, I would say, because with Jupiter and then Venus being retrograde, this time has come to make you realize that change is necessary, that transformation is necessary, right? So a great time for you. I would say that changes are always uncomfortable in the beginning, but changes are the only constant, right? So make use of this time. Overall, if you are looking at remedies as to how do we counter this entire, or how do we handle this retrogression, I would say that the number one remedy which one can incorporate in their lives is not to be aggressive. As I said in the beginning, you need to listen to your heart first, right? So don't be very aggressive, go softly, go easily on relationships. Number two, do not spend time on unnecessary or painful relationships. It's time to move on. It's time to leave any toxic, any bad relationship behind, because Venus represents relationships. So Venus tells you that whatever is unnecessary, whatever is futile, just cut it off. Okay, this is a great time to do it. Also, one can practice the Venus mantra, that is Om Shukraya Namaha, on Fridays, and this should also really work wonders. This is a Vedic remedy, and it should work wonders for going through this retrogression period, which anyways is going to benefit us all. We just need to change our perspective as to how we look at it, right? So thank you so much. In case you haven't subscribed, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you again very soon. Thank you.